Are you getting stuck for new play ideas, or perhaps you're just fed up of playing the same old thing with your child? Well, watch this video and I'm going to show you how I plan and create activities to get my child playing. Hi, I'm Claire. I'm an early years specialist and I'm here to help you support your child's development through play at home. For the best support and ideas for playing with babies and young children at home, make sure you subscribe to this channel and I will be posting a new video every Thursday. Okay, so maybe you're struggling to get the kids playing despite having loads of toys through the house, or perhaps you're just getting a bit fed up of playing the same old thing and would maybe like to introduce some new types of activities, both for your child's sake and for your sake too. Well, if that's the case, I've got a few little tricks that I use at home with my little boy Mason that I think you'll find really useful. So keep watching and we'll go through it. So at this point, before we get started and I share my little tips and tricks for introducing some new types of play, I just want to reassure you about repetitive play. If your child is always going to the same toys or doing the same old thing, it's actually a really great thing. What your child is doing is they're embedding their skills. So they're practicing and learning new things all the time through their play. But by doing the same thing, they're embedding it. They're making sure those connections are there in the brain. And it's in a practical and safe way. They feel comfortable doing that. And that's absolutely fine. But also, when a child has a keen interest, you will often find that it's a great way of introducing lots of learning opportunities as well. So, for example, my little boy Mason has had me being the car park attendant 100 times over. We have done, I couldn't do it any more times. And you get to the point where you think, I can't possibly think of anything more I can say being the car park attendant. But you just have to stick with it. However, let's all be honest, it can be really boring. So for your sake and your child's sake, you might be interested in looking at introducing a few different types of play. And here's how we do it. Okay, so number one, the most important thing of all of this is your child's interest. What is your child interested in? Do they have a keen interest? So like I mentioned, Mason, my little boy, is vehicles. He loves vehicles. It what makes him tick, it excites him. He will play with them, he will read about them, he will watch things about it. He just loves vehicles. It's something in his brain that he really connects with. Does your child have a keen interest like that? Perhaps they do. It might be animals, it could be babies, it could be any old thing. Or if it's not that and you're struggling to think, what's my child interested in? At this point, it's really important that you sit and you watch your child play. Not just watching them, supervising them, but really watch and focus in on what are the kind of things that they always go to. Is it small world, playing with little people? Or do they like to go into role play and doing lots of pretending? Have a good look, because it's that interest that we need to stick with. And sticking with that interest allows us to introduce different types of play, but still based around that interest. And I'm going to show you how I do it. Okay, so after we've worked out our child's interest, the second step is looking at the resources and the toys that you've already got. So have a good look around the house. So like I said, Mason, my little boy, is into vehicles. So as you can imagine, we are drowning in little cars and trucks and vehicles, things like that. But look at those, but also look at, have you got any books and magazines and reading materials, anything like that? What other resources have you got that you could bring in that could be related to that play? Have a look at those first. That's really important, because the last thing I want you to do is feel like you need to go out and buy more stuff. That is not the answer. Instead, I'm going to show you how you can mix up what your child's already got to play with, and maybe if there's some other resources that you could add in there to enhance their play and introduce some new types of activities. Now, I've told you that Mason, my little boy, is really into his vehicles. Would you let me know below in the comments what your child is interested in? Is there a certain type of play that they love, or is there a certain theme that they are always drawn towards? Because more often than not, you won't be surprised to see that there are lots of other parents probably in the same boat as you, and it's nice to know that we're all going through it together. Okay, so what I'm going to show you now is what I do in my head, but I'm going to put it down on paper. Now don't forget that I've been teaching for many years, so I have a lot of experience with this, so I can do it automatically in my head without having to have it on paper. However, I think it would make much more sense if I put it down for you to understand. So I've just got this big piece of paper here. Now in the middle of this is we're going to start with our child's interest. So if we put down interest, please bear with me, writing and filming at the same time. So that's interest, and for Mason it is his vehicles. Okay. So this is in the little middle of our thought bubble. Now then, going from this, we're going to write down loads of different types of play. So it might be something creative, and by creative we could be painting, drawing, all that sort of expressive music. Lots comes under creative. We're going to have a think about messy play. And that might involve some sensory play. It might be Play-Doh. It might be some role play, so that is their pretend play where it's like small world. So for vehicles it's small cars, or it might be role play, pretend play, where they're taking on a role. So that might be like being mechanics and things like that. We also have motor skills, so that's doing those small movements. So small motor, or you can hear it called fine motor, and the gross motor, things that make them do large movements. We're going to have a little think about some number opportunities. And I'll tell you why I write it like that. And writing opportunities. Let's have a little think about perhaps some outdoor play and some sand play. Again, it's because I've got a sand tray, so it's nice to consider that, of how we could get it in there. Water play, and we've got water play, but don't forget that also links up with bath time, which could be really nice. Okay, and then a really important bit is our sources of info. So where you're going to get your information from. Because if you have a child with a keen interest, they love learning more. So this could be books, which might be stories or non-fiction. Run out of space. It might be TV programs on TV. It might be the internet and YouTube. If you are going to look for clips to use with your child, please always watch them beforehand before allowing your child to watch, because you just never know. At this point, I also like to have a little think about resources. I have mentioned that already, but just think about what you've got already and what you could maybe use. Have a look in your cupboard, what have you got? And then finally, in this bit of space here, let's put down the bigger picture. So by that I mean perhaps other themes that link. So when I mentioned before about role play, how could we do vehicles on a large scale where Mason actually gets to pretend? Well, then that's where we bring in perhaps mechanics who are fixing the vehicles, that sort of thing. So it's thinking about how could we pull in different interests to our topic, to our theme. So as you can see, we've got a bit of an overview there. So this is sort of what's going on in my head when I am trying to think of some activities for things to do. And the reason why I do this is because sometimes, like I said, we can get stuck doing the same old thing. But actually, by having this written down and going through the different types, it really helps you to think of ways and new ways that you could play sticking to your child's theme. I've just realised I've missed one off actually, and something that's really important to consider. There might be a new type of play that you want to add in there. So maybe a child's not normally interested in Play-Doh, so you want to add it and think of ways to do that. Or there may be a specific skill that you want to add. Maybe there's something that you're really wanting to practice with your child. Maybe their numbers, maybe their letters. Maybe it's their perseverance or their concentration or their independence, anything like that. So if there's any skills you really want to practice, is a good chance to put those in there. And let's also not forget the importance of social and emotional, because they are often forgotten about but are really, really important, and you can still drag those into your play. Okay, so we've done our mind map, and that's really important, whether it's on paper or whether it really is just in your head like I do. And it's just methodically going through the different types of play and really thinking outside of the box. So sticking with your child's theme, and let's stick with vehicles for now, but I always used to find that my little boy Mason was never a massive fan of Play-Doh. Now I really wanted to get him involved with that because it has lots of sensory elements, but it's also really great for strengthening the muscles in his hands and all those fine motor skills. So I always used to try it, but I used to find those that were most effective was when I linked it to his interests. So vehicles, so you might be thinking, but how can we do cars and how can we do vehicles other than making cars out of Play-Doh? And it's not quite the same, is it? But even just making roads to ride the cars through the Play-Doh and then looking at the track marks, making different track marks, trying different wheels from different toys. Do they leave different tracks? That sort of thing. Black Play-Doh, has your little one ever tried black Play-Doh or grey Play-Doh to look like the roads and make your own roads and like a Play-Doh map? Or perhaps sometimes quite nice with Play-Doh is having images or photos, maybe if you've got some magazines or books, and using the Play-Doh to make the different parts. A lot of the parts in cars are black, so a big lump of black Play-Doh to make a steering wheel or a gear stick could be really interesting to a child who has a keen interest in vehicles. So do you see what I mean? It's about going through the different types of play, like water play, bath time. Right, how could we link bath time with vehicles? Okay, perhaps, have we got any plastic vehicles? Could they go in the water? Could they be all right? It's all that sort of thing. It's just that thought process, just giving yourself a bit of time to think and unpick them. There are some that just don't go, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. But it's about methodically going through the different types of play. Might not always work for all the different types of play, but go through them and see how you can link it to your child's interest. So we've been through the thought process now for coming up with new activities sticking with a theme or an interest of your child. And when you do this, you may notice that your child will concentrate much better, remain focused on the activity for longer, be much more confident and willing to try something new. And also, I hope it gives you the confidence as well for trying new things, and your child will pick up on your energy too. So enjoy these new play experiences. I'm really keen for you to feel comfortable and confident that you can support your child's development through play opportunities at home. So that's the reason why I've created my 15-page free ebook download, How to Create a Playful Home. There's a link below this video. Please click the link. You've just got to pop your details in and the free ebook will be sent straight to your inbox. And I'd also like to take this opportunity to invite you to come on over to Instagram or Facebook, where I go live most days at 10 o'clock sharing support or ideas or just a simple activity that you can do at home. And don't forget, we've got our Facebook community group as well, full of parents, carers and educators, all like-minded people in a positive space talking about play, there to support each other. I really hope you found this video useful today, and if so, please like the video. I'd love you to subscribe and then you can see the videos that come out every Thursday. And don't forget to tell your fellow parent friends, because it might just be the help that they need too. So have a lovely time, let me know how you get on, and as always, happy playing together.